Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now?
Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, Justin Priest, into the Fantastic Friday. As the guys on the Super John talks about Flight Day Friday, well, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037 as we invite you to be a part of the discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. It is Friday, and I hope and pray that your day has been great. I know it's been a challenge for many, and for many who, despite the challenges, are still trying to not only put a good face forward, but to put the right foot forward. One foot in front of the other, they say, and you move forward. Do recognize and appreciate how challenging it is. Well, Shane Obi Edwards will join us in a bit and share from his insight, his intellect, and his vast expertise and experience. But we invite you to share a discussion with us as well. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. And hopefully, together, we'll find a way to not just make it better. What the Kaiso talks about, we find energy in the synergy. It's all about we. 949-8037, 1-800-534-TALK. Well, today, many of us hopefully will not only represent our respective cultures, but in so doing, will show a great sense of unity as we collectively come together and appreciate and celebrate what is, Cayman. It truly is a beautiful, blessed place full with much bounty. And I hope as a people we start to appreciate it, that if we don't do all we can now, you go to church, maybe you inadvertently hear a sermon while you manage to stay awake. Maybe it's just something to say to somebody that resonates with you in a certain way. And you might reflect, as Paul talked about, in the days of Noah, saying like we're living indeed in perilous times. Well, it may just be that, But is it that we are being duped and fooled by the money makers? Is it that the naysayers are lulling us into false sense of security? Or is it that we're beguiled by the charm, the charisma of the snake oil salesman. Not just those who come with the gun or the mask, but those with the tie and the smile. Well, they say to, be as cunning as a whatever and wise as a what? Well, 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Let's test the phone lines and see if it's working. It's a Friday. Now, two quick things I wanted to maybe share with you, and of course invite you to talk about anything that you so choose. I would good question can appreciate that the cost of living, especially with respect to the increasing, cost of housing and land and home ownership being accessible, the increasing cost of fuel prices now, simply because of what is unfolding, are very important, not just topics, but hopefully it'll affect us in a way that we start to look and become more inventive and innovative, not creative in a financial sense when it comes to accounting. We see what Enron and probably some other companies, even some here, may have engaged in way back when. But the notion that we have to think very seriously, have a concerted, consistent effort, a very diligent and determined approach to ensuring that we are indeed better stewards of the resources that we have now, so that not only our children and their children will inherit a better land as our parents and their parents did as they served and sacrificed so that we could, but so that as we age, God's willing, we will too be able to enjoy a better quality of life. Talking about the standard of living, well, how do we measure that? The happiness index, as some countries have taken to measure, what is it that their citizens are experiencing? How do they view their own life choices? Well, without question, the war, the rumors of wars, and what is transpiring on a global scale, well, it's also affecting us in many ways. So the housing and the cost of land, the fuel prices, food security from the perspective of, well, do we have enough? Do we have enough of what we need, not just want? But are there other things that are important to you? I certainly want to speak to those, but I want to say that there have been a number of individuals of recent who have said as they've been looking increasingly at things that have been transpiring around the world, things that have been shared. I can say that probably since the mid to early 90s, I question this whole issue that today, even though I did not use the phrase work-life balance, it's what we're striving for, because I remember working with a fellow who, while he was there and before he left, he shared, you need to get a perspective where you balance in everything so that you have time for everything. Well, I'll tell you what he said then. Let's go to the phones first, though. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Good afternoon to everybody listening.
And to you, Mr. Veerman. Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. What I was just hearing you talking about, the increase in prices, yes. Very difficult times for many people that got low-income jobs and that kind of thing with the high prices, gasoline, diesel, foodstuffs, everything continues to go up because of Putin.
Uh-huh.
That is right. And the devastation and the dreadful times up there where missiles and rockets are hitting innocent people and killing them and blowing them apart. And there is an unusual thing that they're targeting foreign ships. They have sunk one ship and set fire 4 other ships and killed the third engineer on one ship, actually, that I talked with the ship about 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
That same ship went up there, was off Odessa, Russia, and Ukraine. Odessa, Ukraine, loading port. And they shot a missile into the ship and killed the third engineer. And there is roughly 140 ships in Ukraine that are stranded, that can't venture to leave because of missiles and rockets hitting the ships. So crew members, companies are getting the crew members off their ships I know the latest was 22 Filipinos on one tanker that they went to Bucharest, Romania, and taken a flight to Manila in the Philippines. So there's roughly 1,000 seamen up there on those 140 ships that are stranded. There's no pilots to take them out of the river or harbor when they enter. Some of them are loaded with cargoes from different parts of the world, like a load of coal from Colombia. And the ships cannot venture to come out with the captains because of missiles and rockets hitting the ships. So what a situation that is. One of the first times in modern history that foreign flag ships are being targeted, irrespective of what connections, not Russian, not Ukrainian, Greeks, Norwegians, can be any nationality. So what a turmoil that is. I mean, a lot of seafarers, a lot of seamen going to be without jobs because they're being sent back home from off these ships that is stranded up in Ukraine. Serious situation. And then we down here, everybody going to be suffering for increase in prices. Price of crude oil skyrocketing, price of gasoline. And the interesting thing is there's a Cayman Island flag tanker loaded with Russian crude oil headed to Houston, supposed to be there on the 22nd of this month, named the Dolly. She's a super tanker around 800 feet long. Cayman Island flag, registered in Georgetown. There are about 15 more ships en route to America with Russian crude oil and Russian fuel oil. America buys the fuel oil like Pascagoula, Mississippi, Chalmette, Louisiana, Houston, Texas, places like that, and then they use the fuel oil for refining and making gasoline and diesel. And also about Ukraine, that's one of the biggest producers in the world of green wheat, soybean, and it's the biggest producer in the world of sunflower seed oil. You may see certain biscuits or pastries, certain things with the ingredient sunflower seed oil. Well, that's the biggest producer of sunflower seed oil in the world, Ukraine.
It's a very important place, you know. I mean,
yes, it is.
The food basket of Europe, they say, no?
Correct. Yes, a very important place, especially with fertilizers for growing crops. And the interesting thing is also Russian fertilizers have been coming through Caribbean, passing south of Grand Cayman quite often, going to Honduras for growing bananas. So they export St. Petersburg, Russia, and Lithuania, and those places produce a lot of fertilizer. The same fertilizer that you call a dynamite blasting fertilizer, ammonium nitrate, is used for growing bananas, grapes, oranges, all kinds of agricultural products. What a strange thing, but that's how those products are useful in their properties. Also to say that the third biggest car carrier in the world, loaded with thousands of cars, is passing Grand Cayman soon. That's en route from Jamaica, Kingston, going to Veracruz, passing by soon. And you hear the thing about shortage of crude oil. United States is exporting millions and billions of barrels of crude oil constantly. Ships coming out of Corpus Christi right now, going to all over the world. So Russia is cut off from United States supplies. United States will ban Russian crude oil. And United States has its own crude oil by the billions of barrels and exporting millions every day. So they go into an alternative of trying to renegotiate with Venezuela to buy crude oil back from Venezuela to replace the crude oil that was coming from Russia. That's talks with companies to do that. And America now is buying crude oil from Trinidad. A supertanker left Point of Pierre terminal yesterday, coming to Pascagoula, loaded with crude oil. And Guyana has two large storage tankers sucking the oil and pumping it into tankers, where United States, ExxonMobil has a big investment there that they can replace or replenish the imports that they were getting from Russia through Guyana, Trinidad, and many other places.
Mm-hmm.
And when the pipeline gas is hampered or cut off to England, United States got an alternative source of export, liquefied natural gas, methane gas, by the millions of cubic meters on these giant tankers all the time now is going from Texas and Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
going to England, Milford Haven in Wales, and Isle of Grain. They are the two main UK destinations. Milford Haven and Isle of Grain. Giant tankers carrying the heating gas, LNG, natural gas, for running the stoves and the heaters for the warming the climate and everything.
Maybe, this is an opportune time. I mean, we see in Europe considering its reliance on, Russian oil as it is and Russian gas, particularly. So maybe this is an opportunity to think about how we can be more conscious of our consumption and not only seriously reducing it where possible, not being so wasteful, but can we transition to alternative uses that are more sustainable? Words that we use often but seemingly have not been motivated. Maybe on the other hand, though, with all the reserves that they have and stockpile in the US and other places, is this just an opportunity for them to, as some have alleged, just to jack up the prices, as it were, to make up for the losses that they probably experienced in 2020 when oil was selling for, probably cheaper to give it away than to try to sell it. So is it greed, or is it about, being a good corporate citizen and a conscious, inhabitant of this earth?
Yes, sir. Understood your point correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, predictions are that crude oil price could reach $160 a barrel by the end of next week if things continue with tensions in Ukraine with the war.
Mm-hmm.
It could reach $160 per barrel. It's the highest since it's been since 2008 to reach that price. And gasoline is up to $4.11 in the United States. California is around, I think, $5.80 a gallon in California.
On the BRAC, what is the price now, and has it increased since?
I haven't been there in a while to see.
Okay.
The last, I think it was around, I was paying for diesel, it was around $5.60 a gallon,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, and $5.30 for gasoline, somewhere around that. I haven't checked it in recent times.
So diesel was costing more than the gasoline?
Yes, correct. Diesel is a product that is less costly to refine than the gasoline because there are so many additives that is put into the gasoline. I know the Caymanian seamen that are listening to me here today, they know this product when I mention it. The product naphtha, they used to carry that on the tankers that they were carrying. That's a highly explosive cargo that is used into the gasoline. And gasoline has a product that is produced in the United States from the refineries. The name is so big that they call it MTBE. MTBE is methyl tertiary-butyl ether. That's a chemical product. That's why when the gasoline is being pumped or spilled, you smell that highly scent.
Mm-hmm.
That scent coming from the gasoline, well, that is that methyl tertiary-butyl ether, and ether for starting fluid. That's why the gasoline are so potentially explosive when it ignites, because of having that ether in it, that long name product, methyl tertiary-butyl ether. And United States gets that from crude oil products, make it as a chemical, and then they export that. That's an additive into the gasoline. So they just don't refine the gasoline from the crude oil and make the gasoline. These other things are added with it, naphtha and also this MTBE. And there are refineries. 2,500 gas stations alone in the Texas area. Imagine 2,500 in the Texas area. And the United States are producing gasoline and diesel and naphtha by the millions of barrels, and it's being shipped to all over the world. But this is where the oil companies make billions of dollars whenever a war starts or any unrest in the world. And prices jumps up. The oil companies make billions of dollars off the crude oil that they bought for a certain price for, say, $115 a barrel. Now it's gone $139, somewhere around there. So they make billions of dollars of profit whenever these things happen. And the consumers are the ones who have the potential loss or hardships, making a living and keeping up with these high prices on the petroleum products.
If I could ask you, Mr. Rim, as you follow all of this that is happening, what is your estimation? What is going to happen with respect to the conflict in Europe and everything else? I mean, how do you see this panning out?
I'm seeing it right now as a potential threat to the world's civilization, as it could trigger off a nuclear war. Got to be extremely careful. That's why NATO and those other countries do not want to intervene. They're leaving like Russia alone, and they're bombing and killing innocent people and blowing up the place. But if they intervene, then that's when Putin will authorize the use of nuclear weapons, which could destroy the majority of the world's humanity. If England and United States and Russia gets in a conflict with NATO, we are at a very risky point in the world today with this blasted war that Putin has created and making an unsettlement in the world at the time when Mother Nature or whatever brought by or mankind unknown million-dollar question, the pandemic, and the world is so many people gone to the grave because of that, and the world is battling that. And now Putin, just one man, has brought on this potential and excessive mass of worry and frustration.
So, if I may ask just one final point of view before we go to the break, what do you see as the resolution to this? How do we solve this? How do we resolve this?
The resolution would be for him to consider that I'm killing so many innocent people and missiling and bombing Ukraine to change his mind, or his leader there, Lavrov, and his other delegates or his colleagues to get to the table, get to him and say, look, we need to stop it, but that's not going to happen right now. It's going to go on and on. Don't know when it will come to an end. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's it.
All the countries that are putting pressure on Russia. I mean, you are a billionaire. Think of yourself being a billionaire, and you have billions of dollars in the bank, and you can't touch a dollar out of it. That's what they got in England with all the people that are invested in have the money and can't use it. That's a bad situation. So that's what he had brought on so many of his own people. And London has the most billionaires of any country in the world. Like there in London, that's the world's wealth. More billionaires in London than any other place in the world. Because so many of them have moved from other countries and settled there because of a good environment, etc., just like Grand Cayman being a golden opportunity and a sort of a paradise place when people started coming first, and that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Raymond, appreciate you taking the extended time, sir. With respect, let us just pause and take a short break, and then we can join the other callers, all right? Have a good weekend, sir.
Good. Happy weekend.
All right. Thank you, too. Okay. All right. Let's pause, and when we come back, we'll talk today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine. A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
As seniors, we owe it to each other to stay safe and healthy through this pandemic. Let's make sure that our COVID-19 vaccinations are up to date, including getting boosters, and be aware of your surroundings so that we can manage the conditions that make us more vulnerable. Remember, we're in this together, so do your part. Get boosted. You can visit www.gov.ky/coronavirus to learn some more.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us. Always glad, to be able to recognize the reach of Radio Cayman. So to our good friends over in Nairobi, Kenya, a special hello and good afternoon. It's awesome to be able to be connected globally and to recognize the reach. It's just a handshake away. So good afternoon to you, my friend. All right, let's go to the phones. Good afternoon, welcome, and thanks for calling. Hey Rambo, how are you today, man?
I had to spend one day at a time hanging there, man.
Yeah, man.
It's my same always to go, but started right the last caller, right? Over precisely on everything.
Yeah.
And the whole comment scenario starting the prediction of competence, right? If you recall last week, the pilot that retired, he mentioned that they advocated you go back to war again. I was aware of that, right? I don't get into too much specifics because obviously they will get rid of those old consignments and weapons to manufacture new ones. You know how it goes, right? Sterling, the point I call today now, obviously, more like that, they probably a reoccurrence in corporate America, depression. Okay? And obviously, it'll be a detriment here in Cayman, in our shores. Okay? And Sterling, the whole dividing line, high end to low end, especially in Cayman and regionally. It's going to be very, 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 very chaotic and havoc financially, right? And the only scenario is a negotiation, ceasefire, or a 3-day compromise. I doubt that happen. I doubt that because my boy, he's at KGB, and that need blood. He gonna lose, and. Like last week, if a nuclear war happened, for 3-4 months, pot depends, there'll be no sunlight. So, livestock, eradicate. And, so the crops, whatever. So, like I say again, the only negotiation to come to a compromise in a ceasefire. Right? That 3 days. And starting differently, it's an opposite approach now. It's an opposite approach. So, they got to reinforce their thoughts and interests. You see where I'm from? Broadly, you go widen their eyes. Is what I'm saying? So, sorry, he don't know something else. He don't want to regate. So he does got basically in part. Cost of living will be high. almost they're here now.
Mm-hmm.
So we just go economize and hang in there. It's very starting to, right? Very sad.
So what's going to happen? I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
It's like, boy, trust me. If you let me know, I always call Lynn, right? Talking about you know my topic, how to legalize it, like a different alternative revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So we can rely on that, you know. And so Lynn, boy, trust me. What about you? Go more like a cure. What about you? More like a gun cure, differently.
Mm-hmm.
More like that, right? They didn't stand offish. Right? The people are arrogant. You know what I'm saying? They got on loose. Not area. They formed up. He been anticipated from his father. His father threatened George Bush from 2003. That not new. So, and he young blooded, hot blooded. So it's started. They man the more tentative. So it come from.
Mm-hmm.
So, the benchmark thing, right? They demonstrating the flexing the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
You feel that? So, all the thing came out now, we just got pray. Economize or whatever. Yeah, the petrol crude oil is going up. Costs are going up. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about going green. That key word element, resilience, less. So that's a dark move on.
Mm-hmm.
So then, enjoy your weekend, bro.
You too, man. You too. More time. Have a good weekend, right? And as that caller was sharing, you know, we've got a couple other perspectives here that we want to invite you to be a part of as well. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Let's pause and take a break. Stay tuned.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for giving us a shout at 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Well, Shane Obi Edwards, as promised, as he's committed to. He's in the studio with us. Hey, thanks very much for coming on board, man, and joining. Hey, good afternoon to you, man. How you doing?
All right, man. Thanks for having me in, man.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Yeah. I was looking at a couple of things, and that's true. The WhatsApp and the messages are coming in, and the global reach, the interconnectedness, is increasingly recognizing as Mr. Ezra Miller talked about, the interdependence, of nations and of people, the sort of symbiotic relationships that we have. I mean, how many of us? It's synergies. Was the case? So was listening to earlier talking about the energy and the synergy.
Mm-hmm.
But is it that we have this symbiotic relationship, or is it for some a parasitic relationship? After wonder, man. After wonder. You know what I mean?
It just happens, man. It just happens.
But too many times I think we don't see what we have before us. And I think in chatting with you often, I appreciate the importance of reflecting on who we are as a people, reflecting on our impact on the environment, and how that not just translates into the quality and standard of living that we would have, but what future generations would. And then sometimes when you look back, you see that our parents, they were visionary, but they were also very respectful. And if we are able to do something similarly, with respect to being good or even better stewards of the resources, then we might actually get out of this thing, not too bad.
We're not going to get out of this at all. There's no doubt.
Well, your life is something that nobody gets out of life.
Yeah. Well, our current situation came out. We're not going to get out of this.
No?
This just going to keep on compiling.
Yeah.
You got to have strong people to try and keep your culture and heritage. And I'm not saying we don't have strong people, but it's hard with what we've grown to be,
Let me. I like Calypso, right? I think Sparrow is probably a great storyteller, a great entertainer. I don't know the lyrics, but I believe, and the trainees amongst us can tell us differently, but I believe Sparrow did a song when Kennedy, U.S. President Kennedy, was assassinated. And the lyrics went to the effect that spoke of the greatness of the man in terms of the way he was received around the world, the love and respect that people had for him, the way he was perceived, but also the way he presented himself, and it seemed his push, his genuine resolve to peace, to humanity, to equality, to looking at things and recognizing the importance that we are people. And with his assassination, the world, I think, according to the lyrics in his power song, lost a great man. Who will replace him? Well, from that fateful day in October to today, have we found another? And to some extent, is looking at him when the scriptures talk about, there to be a Daniel in the song. What do you think? I mean, I reflect on what you just said. Nobody's willing to stand up for what's right, what's just, what's true, what's honest.
Well, I didn't really say that. But
you sure? That's what I heard you say.
But I'm just saying what we thought was Cayman. If you were speaking about our culture and heritage, it's kind of hard for us to retain it. How we've grown and grown so fast, and I think we've gotten to a state of more financial needs.
Yeah.
are more important these days than actually, you know, we need to satisfy our financial needs a lot more than we ever used to be.
Yeah.
Right, and that in that sense, you know, it's kind of hard to say, boy, you know, we don't just go and you know, show people how we did touch.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff is just kind of hard. But other than that, I mean, when I speak about stuff, it's just basically what I've learned over the years is try to enjoy the moment, whatever it is. That's why when I'm on my tours and when I'm doing what I'm doing, I don't like to do anything I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm doing something, it's something I like. If I don't like it, then I try to stay away from that. And you know, I think once you like something and you get in a moment, you appreciate it. But again, everybody is fueled by their own financial needs, and if you have to do something for your financial needs, I've had to work in situations I didn't appreciate. I had to do something sometime before, but we can still work on doing things that we appreciate or we enjoy, and you know, enjoy the moment. I mean, enjoy the simple things. You know,
Well,
you know, we're sometimes we get caught up in the fact that we're pressured to do this and pressured to do that when we need to enjoy it, because that's why my interest is in the nature and in things around me, because that's the only thing I think we can hold on to, the memories. We can't hold on to property. We can't hold on to $1 million. We can't hold on. You know, we have the moment and the experiences is what makes a difference. And I've experienced that over and over again with guests, you know, that I've, you know, interacted with here, whether through my tour or otherwise. And that's what people travel for, the experience. They can't take it with them. They just go there.
Make memories, huh?
So every minute, you know, you go out and you enjoy a moment and it's good, appreciate it.
Yeah.
You
know, after the news break, maybe we can, because there's a lot on the table. There are a lot of things that are happening, right? And you just say some things that are very profound. And if we could do that, enjoy the moment, embrace life, give thanks, appreciate what we have, it may mean a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes, you know, that's where you could get in it. People say, oh, you know, enjoy the moment and forget about all this and stuff. So you have to point out things. Like me, I'm enjoying the moment out there, watching all this, but then I see people they're going to be selling the pond in East End, and I'm trying to talk to people, the government, and say, this is something we need to preserve, not just for me, but for others. Yeah, they say it's preserved. I just don't buy that one.
All right.
I think it needs to be owned by the government or the people of the Cayman Islands.
Well, one the same should be right. After the news break, let's talk more about that, man. Yeah, cool. All right, stay tuned, and Obi will sit with us for a bit, so stay tuned.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. Police are investigating a single-vehicle collision that took place yesterday, March 10th in Georgetown, shortly after 9:30 p.m. The accident occurred at the intersection of Walkers Road and Melmac Avenue. A blue BMW 335 had been traveling northbound on Walkers Road when it left the roadway and collided with a utility pole, causing severe damage to the pole and the vehicle. The Cayman Islands Fire Service extracted the driver, who was the sole occupant of the vehicle. He was transported to the Cayman Islands Hospital by ambulance and is currently being treated for what appear to be serious but non-life-threatening injuries. In international news, the UK government has imposed sanctions on hundreds of Russian parliamentarians as part of its response to the war in Ukraine. Some 386 MPs who voted to recognize 2 rebel-held areas of eastern Ukraine as independent last month have been hit by asset freezes and UK travel bans. India says it accidentally fired a missile into Pakistan on Wednesday, blaming the incident on a technical malfunction during routine maintenance. Delhi said it was deeply regrettable and expressed relief that no one was killed. Pakistan's military said its flight path had endangered passenger flights. Both countries have nuclear weapons. U.S. actor Jussie Smollett has been sentenced to 150 days in jail after a jury found he lied to police about being the victim of a hate crime. The former Empire star was found guilty in December of 5 charges of felony disorderly conduct after making false reports about the hoax attack. The sentence also includes 30 months of probation and $145,000 in restitution and fines. The trial stems from an incident 3 years ago when Smollett said he was attacked by 2 assailants. The actor, who is black and gay, said the attackers shouted slurs at him and a Trump slogan, dumped a chemical substance on him, and tied a noose around his neck while he was walking late at night in January 2019. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts, MBE, JP. Following the 1932 hurricane, like most young men growing up in Cayman in that era, the call of the sea was heard more strongly than any other. Keith Tibbetts Sr. of Cayman Brac was no different. After assisting with the rebuilding of the family home, resurrecting the family car, and helping other relatives and the community rebuild, he built and sold several catboats before going to Jamaica to seek employment as a seaman, and his long distinguished career got started on September 25th, 1935, when he stepped on board the schooner Admiral Sturdy, which his father built and was later sold to the Colonel family. A year later, he joined the Canadian banana boat Lady Somers in Canada. During his seagoing year, he visited several ports in England and made 11 trips around the continent of Africa, including a distinguished military career. This was part 3 of a special Sister Islands vignette series dedicated to Captain Keith Parker Tibbetts.
I'll be back. I've got 22 more days.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thanks so much for joining us. If you want to be a part of the discussion, 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Sheena Edwards, affectionately and internationally known as Anobi, for his prowess as the jet ski champion, to the entrepreneur extraordinaire. Anobi, thanks very much, man. But it's people like you who share a vision, who echo sentiments, but also champion a voice. So I always inspired to hear from you, man.
Thank you, man. But I'm just a voice.
Just hey. Listen.
I'm speaking from a conch shell all the way in East End.
But listen, I'm sure it's the same way in East End as it was in West Bay. You come into the North Sound, right? You hear the fishermen blowing the conch shells.
Yeah.
There are those who, and I can still thankfully, remember that. The bicycle, the conch shell blowing, and you hear the stories from people of yesteryear, and you know by that particular echo, that sound, which fisherman that was, right? And it's their branding, their trademark. Well, the diamond reams, right? And rides.
Yeah. When I'm saying that, I'm speaking from the conch shell, I just think that, your voice is normally compressed, is actually in a corner.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think, our people or our government need to still take note of the small people that are out here that are speaking or trying to do something positive in the Cayman Islands, because this is our country and we deserve to be recognized.
Is it then that, all right, I want to hear from you.
I just feel that they need to have more, just listen a little bit more. And spend some more time understanding the small business people that are trying to work things out during these times or even before.
So there are a number of idioms, right? Someone said these idiots, no idioms. They're probably those two. But, right? And these sayings go where sometimes they even become almost like a cliche. The squeaky wheel against the oil, right? Empty vessels make the most noise. We've heard them before. But if you look at organized interests, we call them special interests, we call them lobbyists and the like, right? And whether they're able now to get on the agenda, set the agenda, influence the agenda, dictate and direct, the policy outcomes and the like. The small businesses in most economies are being championed as the engines of the economy, but they probably sometimes get the less or even attention, but sometimes not even the sufficient attention when they do get it. In our country, your perspective on government's approach to date to small businesses, guidance, assistance, incubation, whatever it is. What's your perspective?
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard what they've done for small businesses. Maybe they've done stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are people out there could call in and let us know what they've done for small businesses. I understand that the major stakeholders, as they call them in the tourism industry, are the bigger, wealthier businesses, but that's not enough, because even though they have these bigger entities that they may stay at or do, larger companies, they still, guests are going to still have to trickle down to smaller businesses. So what are you doing? I think there are businesses that have had challenges in getting everything in order. I've had challenges with my businesses because it's difficult knowing that you're not having income for 2 years. You're not taking a stipend. You're not begging the government for anything. You just want them to recognize or waive something to get your business back up and going, to get you to provide that service that the guests were used to from 2019. We are 2 years removed. It's not that easy to get back into the market.
Sometimes other side of the mind.
Whether people may be listening to me and saying whatever, but I'm telling you, I think that they need to pay more attention to that, because businesses I'm being overwhelmed in almost every area, but being overwhelmed and being able to service and provide the service that it was before, that's not that easy.
So
right?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, just getting your business back up. So there are certain things that can be done, but I'm not calling for them to come to me in my business and do something special for me. That seems to be what's been happening. They need to just call to do something that would assist everybody that's a small business owner. Maybe everybody's a Caymanian owned or 90% owned business, something like that, and get them back into service and tourism industry, or get their business up, because some people have lost jobs, lost their businesses, right? I'm gonna have to clarify. because it's not about people me getting a stipend or anybody getting a stipend. What it is that's a handout that is, in my opinion, creating a little bit of problem. Not that some people don't need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there should be other ways, other creative ways for the government to ensure that they can assist people to get back. And now we have a war on our hands. I don't know. People better be thinking conservative. You know, I am. Because I'm not saying that things not, you know, I don't know. You got to be conservative because you don't know what's going to happen.
But is there, listening to an inherent conflict? On one hand, politicians, right, who are trying to ensure that they are seen in the best light by the prospective voter, want to make sure that they curry favor and doing the things.
Well, I really don't know. I really don't know if that's the case. I just haven't heard. I don't know exactly what they're doing for small businesses. I know they're helping people who have been out of job, removed out of job. We're 2 years later. There should have been some program to get people into jobs and to assist small businesses to get back into working condition. Right? Because those are the people who are going to service the people who are visiting. I wonder what's going to happen when the cruise ships start coming.
Yeah, I've heard across a number of different, if you call them industries, I say sectors, right, including financial services, even the legal profession, as it were. The same sentiments expressed prior to 2020 being expressed, you know, as recently as Tuesday this week, where many employees have shared that the challenges that they had trying to find employment, to get the hours if they're hourly paid, to get the promotion, to even get employment, right? They were bad then. They're probably worse now. Even when many of the employers are hiring, but they're not hiring from what is available locally, right? They're bringing back staff.
Well, to be honest, I really don't know much about that. I mean, I just, whenever I hear them talking, whenever I hear that they have a problem with the stipend and that the stipend has to continue and that people don't have jobs, that's enough to say there's a concern. Because we're 2 years removed and there should have been a program in place to put people into jobs.
All right.
And if that's not happening, then somebody, you know, again, there's always two sides of this, right? Because it depends if you want to work. I'm a hard worker, so I don't know about anyone else, right? And if I was out of a job, I'd want to take a job. I've taken jobs before below my pay grade because I needed to suffice certain bills and needs. But, you know, I've taken the direction now that I would like to be self-employed, and that's not easy.
Right. We do have a caller on line, Obi. All right, let's take this caller. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling Green, and good afternoon, Obi.
Good afternoon, man.
Afternoon. How are you?
Boy, rough, regular, poor, sober, ugly, and enjoying life.
Boy.
Sound just like me.
Life is what you make of it, you know. So if you don't be jovial and you know, take it as it comes.
True.
You'll be underground before no time.
Yeah, true.
You know, Nobi, you're saying a mouthful, actually more than a mouthful.
Oh, thank you, man.
When it comes to the situation in the world today, because mind you, we down here, I guess a lot of us are taking it complacently and not paying any mind to it. But it's a serious matter that's going on, because remember now, gas prices going through the roof.
Yep.
They're going to reach the clouds. Not ain't through the roof, they're going to reach the clouds.
Yep.
There's been rumored that they're going to $8 a gallon.
Yep.
And I don't just believe that rumor, because I seen price of gas in Florida now is over $5 a gallon.
Wow.
So, yeah. As a matter of fact, my son is up there right now with his grandfather. And he pictured me the price on the gas pump this morning.
Wow.
So if it is $5 a gallon there, that's a sneeze. So we got the cold.
Yeah. You're right.
So and the cost of living is going through the roof again, because it's a domino effect. When you get gas prices go up, it affects everything. The light going up, you bet water going up, all the utilities can go up.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you have the shipping companies. They got to cover their costs, so they got to put up on their freight.
Yeah.
So the supermarkets now, I mean, when the ships get in here, they truck it from the port to CDC, from CDC to the suppliers. Everything is fuel. Who do you think paying for it? Me and you. Because I mean, I own a business. I can't operate at a loss because of the other business before. I even opened the door.
Yep.
So if the wages don't compensate for it, we're actually on the ground.
Yep. And a lot of businesses have closed because of that.
Yeah. And more gonna do it too.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling people to look out, because the worst has not come yet.
Yeah.
Where do you see it going?
Yep, be prepared for the worst, and if you get better, praise the Lord. In all things, give thanks to Him, because you still got life.
That's true.
Amen.
Very true.
I certainly, it's going to be interesting, and this is the world in which we pass along to our children.
So the key thing is, people need to start conserving. Be wary of your electricity consumption, your water consumption, and it's not about our utility company or anybody else. It's about you spending out where you don't need to spend out. And everything else. I mean, this might sound like crazy to people, but I'm just saying, I save myself a lot by conserving electricity. I couldn't imagine paying a $500 electrical bill, right? And I'm not uncomfortable, right? So you gotta bear that in mind. Try to be conserve in a lot of ways. And people were talking a while back about growing your own and stuff. I was growing some stuff and things. The iguanas were getting at me. It was kind of more expensive to grow that, deal with, But I mean, I really, it's the way to go, because I really like growing my own stuff, eating my own stuff. And it's always healthy, so I can do it losing some weight, right? So, but I'm just saying, honestly, you got bread, fruit, you got people need just conserve, because the main thing I've seen with people you got some people that are going through a hard time, and they say they can't afford to eat, they can't afford to do certain things, and if you're spending money on high electricity or other stuff, then you can conserve and save it for other stuff.
I guess
I don't know. I'm just trying to say that. I just think conserving and
well, we grew up,
is
right?
the way to go.
We hear our parents and our grandparents, we not, want not. Yeah. Right? So to the caller, thank you for those sentiments, right? But if we look at where we are now, I guess the uncertainty of what lies ahead.
Yeah.
For me, you got to think of your aging parents and the future generations, and what is it going to be like? Not just tomorrow, not just next year, not just 10 years, and to what extent will our actions be irreversible, right? Now, I know the scripture talks about, don't worry about tomorrow. I made it through yesterday, we can embrace today. But if you, don't plan, if you don't conserve, if you don't be, mindful, then you're apt to repeat some of the same mistakes, and you're apt to be caught flat-footed, as it were. Now, how many of us are just pawns and don't even realize it? And how many of us are, part of that?
I mean, a lot of people, since the pandemic, I was watching the news and checking up everything about COVID, and you fall and you get all scared, and you go, and there's a point where I just decided I'm just gonna shut that off, right? We already know that this is a virus. We have we know how to protect ourselves. Just do that, because every new strain, you put stress on yourself thinking about if it'll affect you, right? And in the same way, I think a lot of people have shut off the news or shut off things about war or whatever, because I have, you know what I mean? Only sometimes I read up on it, but this is just a reminder to people. Just sometimes you have to bring up these things that, not that. I mean, my voice probably not. I'm surprised the gentleman even thought what we were saying was good. I'm just here saying what I feel today.
Right.
But we need to think about what's going on and how we're gonna go forward, because more and more we're gonna get more people on the level of being dependent on these services that the government are providing and stuff, which I don't like, and I'm sure none of those people like.
Well, if you take away a person's pride, I mean, again, unfortunately, it probably has become, something that we've said so often that it no longer has any significance. Teach a man a fish and how to fish it, you feed him for life.
Yeah, right? but honestly, there are some tough situations in Cayman.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I can only sympathize that it's not that easy for everybody.
No,
right?
I'm with you.
But I really would like to see. I think more has to be done on the lines of actually getting people employed.
Yeah. So if we,
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the what they call them work,
But then, if you go back to that notion, right? So today, like the week, but earlier I've had a number of people just for whatever reason they just send a couple of comments, and I will make notes on when you can see a pattern. And so I wrote them down, right? The cost of living, right? The cost of housing and land prices and the like, the gas prices, and food security. 4 things, right? Now, there were other points, and there were a number of calls throughout the week, but those were the 4 that were resident seem to be almost on everybody's minds, right? Now, the gas prices maybe because it's immediate, they're concerned, but those are things that have a long-term consequence on everything. So if we are in this country and we're not, to my point, the same challenges that, say, for instance, that the people in the legal profession were echoing that they may have been experiencing. Qualified lawyer can't get work, or graduated law school can't get articles to qualify as a lawyer, or gets the articles but can't be offered extended employment. And there are increasing numbers of people in the sector that are being brought in on the permit. What are we doing, right? If people in the hospitality sector are saying, they can't find work.
Yeah. Well. Again, I'm a guy that didn't really support the whole legal practitioners bill kind of thing, and I support local lawyers being employed and what have you. But that's really more of a specific thing, and I think it's very small amount of lawyers that probably didn't get a job. To be honest, I think there's a lot of Caymanians that are in the high end that get jobs and are doing well. But what amazes me is that we're going through all this. We got so much Caymanians that are unemployed, and I go to the glass, I call it glass house, but the government administration building, and I see security officers that are from a different nationality, or people. I don't get it. There's a lot of Caymanians that could do those jobs. And if someone tells me it's not so, well, something is wrong.
Right.
Right?
There is no question.
I mean, that is, that's the first phase, even there in the airport and stuff. And the port, that's the first phase of people in Cayman. If they have to go to the government administration state government administration building, and the first people they're seeing is not the nationality of the country, then I have never been in a place in the Caribbean that I went to a government facility and there's another nationality greeting me. Never.
Well, maybe
right?
this is
the
approach.
I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't have anything against other nationalities, but I'm sure those that are out there would understand where we're coming from, you know.
But let me
because
ask
in
you.
their country, I'm sure it's not like that.
Yeah. So let me ask you then, right? With that in mind, and to your point earlier, where many have shared that we need to be doing something to ensure that people can, if they can't get back into the sector they work in, they can go into another thing. They get a skill set. If there are increasing numbers of people who are still unemployed, and we're bringing in people, more and more people, why can't we move some of these to there? No, is it the training, the expertise, the experience?
I don't know. There's a lot of different unemployment strategies or employment strategies that we've learned in school: cyclical, structural, all these kind of things.
Right.
And you know, it could be a lot of structural unemployment differences, meaning the people who have these skill sets can't fit into these jobs or whatever. I really don't know. But I understand that work and maybe other areas are doing their best to get people into jobs, but I just still don't understand it. And there's so much different parameters, I would assume, in there.
All right. We got a quick break to take, a voice note to share, but we want to hear from others, and maybe, collectively, let's crowdsource. We can get it. That's input, feedback, maybe some solutions, some suggestions at the very least. So 949-8037, toll free with the compliments of Flow, 1-800-534-8255. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Subway makes it easy for you to stay on top of your health and wellness goals with our Fresh Fit menu options. Choose from 5 Fresh Fit Subway sandwiches with only 450 calories or less per 6-inch sub. Turkey breast, veggie, oven roasted chicken, Black Forest ham, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or make your 6-inch Fresh Fit sub into a salad or wrap prepared with fresh vegetables. For a full menu and nutritional information, visit subway.ky. Subway, eat fresh. You can now book and pay online for your certified lateral flow test at www.hsa.ky/appointment. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Certified LFTs are $25 per test per person. HSA's testing center is located at 131 Center, McClendon Drive, behind Foster's Airport. Walk-ins for certified LFTs are also available. Need a PCR test for travel? These are now only $75. Visit hsa.ky/appointment for more information. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Boddentown. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Saturday, April 30th, 2022.
Talk today. But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And thanks to Nobi for sharing a perspective. As you said, you're blowing the conch shell all the way from East End.
Yeah, but let's talk about fishing and bananas and things like that. Different.
Some breadfruit.
I get out of my
no,
a little passionate, but out of my.
But the thing is, as a listener, and that's the passion that I think we need to embrace. That's the notion that, as you talked about, not just eating where you grow, but grow where you eat. And the ancestors who went before, it wasn't just subsistence farming. It wasn't just necessity was the mother invention. It wasn't that for them they lived this life because that's what it was. But I think in their example, we now have a role model that we can look to, right? Mm-hmm. But you said earlier that maybe we're so caught up with our finances, maybe this perception that what we drive, how we dress, perhaps even our dress, the gated communities and the like. Are we conscious that that's growing, are leading to a growing divide in our society, as opposed to serving as an example to encourage and motivate? People seem to have adopted things that are not necessarily healthy or helpful.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, now, when we look at the global landscape, but we look at Cayman in particular, and as small as it is, we see the impact that is around us from the global situation, but also from our individual endeavors, our actions, as well as our inactions. You and others have reminded us of the importance of looking at the natural environment. We can't expect to have conch and lobster and fish if we're not conscious, or our parents were conscious of it. We can't expect to have a clean space if we don't clean.
Well, that's good. I was talking to the marine environment guys the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not this week on Wednesday, and they were, I guess, out there at some of the guys that were going fishing, the local guys, which I feel it for the local guys, mm-hmm. because a lot of them, that's their livelihood, right? I feel it for the older East Enders and wherever else that do fishing in Cayman. And I know they're not trying to go out there and take unnecessarily and stuff in a lot of cases, right? So there will be cases, but not a lot of them. But we have so much environmental protection things put in place. And I think a lot of times people don't think that some people want to just survive, and then they go out there for their livelihood. But one of the things I point out to them, they were like, a gentleman was there, he said to me, I was asking him where the zones were, because now this conch season, where can I go and get conchs? Because most of the areas that we used to know that we could go in, they've now changed it to, during this 2021 or whatever it was, to a environmental protection zone. Mm-hmm. And there's quite a lot in East End that were where the conchs were. So this gentleman, which I found it funny, because we know that most of those park rangers probably go out and get conch too, and lobster. He said to me, that the lobster look better in the sea than in your pot. And I'm like, funny. That's funny, because every time there's lobster season, a lot of people come in here, and if I sit back and I don't go out and get lobster or conch, then I would have none, because there's a lot of people that come in here, visitors, and go out and get conchs and lobsters by the numbers. And they would stay a couple of days on the beach and go get right out there and come back for it. And I told him, I expressed that I believe that should not be the case. When conch season, lobster season, that should be for locals and not necessarily people visiting. Because if you're concerned about people poaching, and you're saying they're taking an excess amount, how much million visitors do we have come to the Cayman Islands? And if you think of the percentage of that probably would go out and look for fish or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. That's a huge impact. During June is whatever season.
Mm-hmm.
So are you looking at the impact, or are you looking at that as locals going out and get it? We have to consider these factors.
Mm-hmm.
They point out that there wasn't anything in the law that stopped, visitors from going out and getting cokes. That's what they point out. And that we should let the government know our concerns or whatever. So I'm on the radio now,
mm-hmm.
expressing to the government that they should consider these things when they're looking at protecting the environment and thinking that it's just locals that is depleting it.
Mm-hmm. But even to your point, the allegation sometimes that the enforcement is selective, that some of the people are like anything else, who you wouldn't expect to be, quote unquote, poaching, or maybe the ones that are.
Yeah.
So if that is a perception, if an allegation has been made, and if it's one that has a level of credence to it, how do we address it?
You mean that people are poaching?
Yeah, and not just the known ones that may not know.
I don't think they're poaching. I think what they're doing is they're going and getting their share, because you can do it one day, you go the next day and get a semen month, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're here for a week and you're like, I'm going out every week and getting my spiny lobster, Caribbean island conch. I mean, I'm not saying that they shouldn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying why are they allowed to do that without a license? Because most places, there you have a fishing permit, or even if for clams or anything like that, there's a permit that you have to get, and only certain people can get that permit. Right?
There's a lot of
so
protection. Yeah.
What we're doing is we're putting in place protection, or what we're saying environmental protection laws, but then it's halfway done.
Yeah.
Let's protect it the right way, and to ensure that it is protected.
All right. We've got a couple of calls online as we speak to Nobi in the studio. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, afternoon, gentlemen. Hope all is well.
Afternoon to you. How are you?
Yeah, in a bed. I couldn't stand it. Just a quick one. Listening to what Novi was just saying about people going out there and having all of the pretty much the same access as we assume that the locals are only supposed to have. And he is right with that, because me myself many times have taken tourists out there during these seasons, and you get a boatload of your limit, and obviously it's devoured by them, not even by me taking them out there. And I wouldn't do that sometimes, one time for the day. If I went out 2-3 times for the day, and instead of taking 10, I'm taking 30. And it happens several times over the week. So this is a part of the whole depletion process. The biggest problem we have, and it pretty much seems with everything else, is enforcement, right? Yeah. I mean, you find out that we got laws, but when they're enforced, they're then challenged, and then of course there's, in a majority of them, there's no enforcement at all. There's just,
correct.
I mean, many people who are consider themselves poachers, they go there and take it. Maybe that's not something they want to do, but that's the choice they're sort of left with, I guess. They basically go there. They might take a couple of hundred more than they should, but I guess at the end of the day, when you look back at it, maybe it doesn't affect anything at all. Even though them 10 or so local poachers are taking hundreds and hundreds, at the end of the day, it might not have as much of an impact as I just mentioned, me taking people out there legally and taking more. So, and then we locals pick up all of this blame for, not respecting our environment and thinking of our country first. But again, I don't want to hold you guys up, but I think a lot of it has to do with, just like everything else in Cayman, lack of enforcement. I mean, we can see it with raising children. Long ago, you could enforce certain rules in your house. Your children nowadays, when they get to a certain age, they're already advised that, if your parents beat you, do not hesitate to call the authorities, and the authorities will step in and let you know that, you might be the parent or guardian, but there's a law here saying that, you don't have a right to this and a right to that. Maybe that's the way you were brought up, but those things are outdated with the current law.
Yeah.
And you'll find things like that, a lot more enforced things that you don't expect, where your children are challenging you. But like I said, so I think it's a lot to do with having the enforcement. If you go to you were talking about work. I mean, we can see just this week alone gone, we had I think 2 boats that landed on our shores, and brought an additional, whether it's 10 or 14, whatever people. And, I only assume they're just looking at a better life. Maybe most of them don't want to be here with it, but this is a stop that they've made. Just like poaching and taking things, when you keep adding all these people, there's more mouths to feed. And, of course, they're not people that you're adding that you're saying, okay, well, show us you got $1 million or more so we can know that you don't depend on our environment. And even that in itself is a touchy thing, because we are bringing in all of these people with money. And we're but we've been seeing over the years where there's property at an affordable price. You're local, you have a college degree or whatever, and you realize that, now my salary is going up. I can now afford that piece of land I've been dreaming about. But when you go back and check the price, the goalpost has now switched 3-4 times higher than it was, and it's now out of the range of your current salary. And to put that blame on, I would say really that the real estate market is causing a lot of problems for what you would call the locals. These realtors can, it's a free market we have out there. You can put a price on anything you have, and there's no stop to it. But we can't just allow people just land on a plane, and then you come in here and go down into West Bay, go up into East End, and buy certain land. There should be a restriction that, if you are an investor, you got plenty of money, you come in here, you're a foreigner to buy property, you should be restricted to maybe only buy that property on West Bay Road. You shouldn't be able to go into West Bay anymore. We see developers going in and buying up all the parcels for cheap as dirt, and then building 700 square foot apartments and selling them back for $400,000 or $500,000 easy. And that's happening right next door to the government housing schemes. You take, for instance, down in West Bay, what you call a Rocky Pond, the government houses there, 2 and 3 bedroom houses going between, I think, like $120,000 to $145,000, come with a nice yard and everything. And then right across the street, you got an apartment complex that was being able to be built, and you're talking about a 1,500 square foot house, and comparing that to a 700 square foot apartment that is 4 or 5 times the price of the house right across from it. And what that has done was it just it created a lot of chaos, because I got property next door to it. Now I don't want $80,000 for my property no more. I want $280,000 for that piece of property now, just because I can probably get it. And at the end of the day, all that's going to do is take all these young Caymanians that are coming up. You're talking about going and getting an education and all this kind of stuff. Like it's almost becoming pointless if something not done. But again, like I said, I can't say too much. I'll leave the floor to you, gentlemen. But thanks for taking my call and giving me opportunity.
Thank you for listening,
man. Yeah, have a safe weekend.
You too as well. Fox, we take the calls or you got to take the break?
Very good point.
Good point, sir. We'll take the break and then we take the calls and then we play the voice notes.
Good point, that guy.
All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Hi, I'm remodeling a bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Calling all amateur bakers in the Cayman Islands. Celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, taking part in the Cayman Islands Platinum Cake Competition. His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper invites you to submit your homemade dessert recipe to the Governor's office by April 3rd. Win a chance to have your dessert recreated for the Queen's birthday party in June. Do you have what it bakes? Well, submit today at gov.ky/Jubilee.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. And in the studio, Nobi has made the trek from the east and landed down here in town. All right. So a couple of calls online. Let's go straight to the phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey. Afternoon. How are you? Hi. Welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello. Good afternoon.
How are you today? Good afternoon.
How are you, sir?
Very well and thankful. How about you?
I'm fine.
Good day.
I listened to the gentleman on your panel. I don't get his name, but
Nobi.
anyways,
Nobi.
Kobe.
Nobi.
Okay,
Shane Edwards. We call him Nobi.
Okay.
How you doing, man? I haven't heard you. I hope.
Yeah, certain things, when I don't call certain times.
Yeah, man. But blessings to all the team, all right?
Lockdown sometime.
Yeah, man.
What a sensible young man.
Yeah, man.
Sensible young man. If you had more people like him thinking like that, and how like when they say the airport we're gonna open that when you see Jim at building it, they said we're gonna put cows in it. So what's going on now? But my point is my comment is when I look around, like when you say when you go to different places, you see you don't see a whole heap of nationality. You see the country people them at the front line and stuff. When you look here, you have like when you look at our airport, it's a shame and disgrace. We have the Guyanese. I have nothing against no nationalities, but we have the Guyanese, the Filipinos, the Filipinos, the Guyanese, and the Jamaicans, right? It's a shame. They got the Guyanese coming in, right? And then you have the Filipinos coming in. They come as wheelchair helpers, They come as wheelchair helpers in the properly permit. And when they end up in the front desk, working in the front desk as agents. That's a shame. It's a shame. And my wife wanted to call into the book something else. There's another thing at the hotel. They got 6 people that in the opening, right? And they don't want to hire no Caymanians. Why? Because when the Caymanians go to work, they don't want to pay them $6 US an hour. That's a shame. It's a shame. When I call, I call it positive stuff. I call it negative stuff. And this facts I deal with. I deal with it every day. If I lose my job, I got to speak the truth because I'm born, grown Caymanian. I'm a Caymanian as a little boy. I used to carry socks on my back with bottles to D&G to sell, to make a living. Spear fishing. Me and Mal was smitten them boys there. You understand? I knew where I'm coming from. Walk barefoot in the hot Mal Road. People coming to and take our country. It's a shame. It hurt me. It hurts me. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
You have a blessed, wonderful day, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
Okay, good, man. So,
Thank you for the call.
Let's take this as a call over and see how we'll wrap them up. Huh?
Yeah.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Sterling.
Afternoon.
Dwayne Sterling Ebanks.
Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
It's something like that.
No. It's just that one.
You know something? I feel for these guys that calling, because them guys are dead on with the emotions and their feelings. We are really in a problem in the Cayman Islands, and I would just want to start by saying, that guy that just called it, the gentleman, it is so true to know that our Caymanians are put last before anyone else. And I said it before, Dean, this is not the first time. And I was watching the YouTube channel some days ago, and there was you know what, let me just say, the Minister of Tourism came on and started thanking DART Corporation for hiring Caymanians. So what happened to the government? What happened to the government? We not here to big up DART or to shake DART's company hand for helping Caymanians. We are here as Caymanians for our government to help our Caymanians, not for private sectors, because private sectors are not going to pay Caymanians what they're supposed to be making. Private sectors are going to take the minimum wage, $5, $6, and pay our people. I am feeling that to back up those guys that call. But what I want to mention is this thing about foreigners coming here in our Cayman shores and fishing in. Sterling, you and the gentleman there that you're speaking to, I don't know who he is, don't know, met him, but he sounds like an intelligent young man. We cannot go in no other country and go to their shores and cast no type of line in their waters without a permit. Why are the people allowed to come here as foreigners from four corners of this globe, come to Cayman waters, go out there and fish and take our fish? We, the Caymanians, get the blame that our fish is being depleted by Caymanians, and nothing is being done. They have no right to come in a foreign country without the proper permission, which is a license in order to fish in, because the license will serve government income of them having to pay on that license. These are the only rules that should be laid down for the foreigners, not for the Caymanians.
You know what?
Because I see time and time again, I see Caymanians do not harbor on the water. The Americans are always on the water. The different nationalities, Jamaicans, the Guyanese, the Filipinos, they are all on the water, on the shore, taking what is ours without a consent of a license. And then they go hinder the Caymanian when he's out there trying to feed his family. They'll go and harass the Caymanian. These things, Sterling, needs to be addressed. And another thing I want to touch on before I go, I'm trying to do everything in one breath. The groupers, they complain about the groupers for years. Now the groupers had populated by the hundreds and hundreds of thousands in the water. And let me say something, Sterling. There are the people that come here and doing surveys can only tell the government, okay, we got 2 group of holes on Cayman Brac, 2 on Little Cayman. Listen, you got hundreds of group of holes around these Cayman waters here, especially around one island, because they migrate in different areas. They're like animals the same way. They do the same. They go and find their own area to spawn. They don't just spawn in 2 holes. And when these people on Cayman Brac here, Little Cayman and Grand Cayman can't, at least now for the past, they had the season closed for the past 6 years, you got to tell me they can't open the group of holes for at least 1 week. Because listen now, you got to make sure that the weather is perfect to go to the group of holes. You got to tell me they can't open that group of holes for 1 week, that the Cayman people can teach their children how to group a fish or whatever kind of, and allow it that we can teach our children how our past was. Listen, sir, we need to get off of this thing about supporting foreigners in our country. They need to come here and beg us. We don't need to beg them. We need to make sure that when they come here, they beg us, and our leaders, our government, our people, they need to get up and stop making people step on the Cayman people and just wait until election time to help Caymanians. That's not no good to us. That is no good to us. It is sad. It is sad. It just takes me to the part, something. I just say this issue with the war, we all understand biblical terms must come through, or biblical beliefs, signs must come through. But somehow, Sterling, when you stop and think about it, free will.
if they raise the fuel whip out, them marine officers can use their boat and go out there and stop harassing Caymanians fishing. The fuel should go $10 a gallon to keep them from out there. That would help Caymanians, because none of these foreigners not getting in no boat and going out in the water to fishing. And you go out there and you catch a turbot, which is off in the ocean. They're still coming harassing you.
Yeah.
These things have to stop. People need to step up. People need to get up and stand up against these kind of people in our country.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Appreciate your sentiments, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good afternoon and a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. You too.
Thank you. Nobody, you want to share? We do have another caller for a break, but if you want to weigh in, man.
Well, just want to let the gentleman know who I am, Shane Nobby Edwards. Live up in East End. My father was Brasley McLean, a good guy. My grandparents, So basically, just saying that. But at the end of the day, I appreciate the great comments there, and he's dead on. The last two callers are dead on of how I think, and I never thought a lot of people would be agreeing, but the reality of it is people have to speak up, and I was a part of when they previously brought in. We're trying to put in place the new marine environment protection zones, and I don't know what happened. It slipped me because I wasn't able to finish up. I was traveling at one point, and some of the people from the district wanted me to assist with, the whole. I think there were negotiations back and forth where the markets were going to be, and I didn't. It slipped me, but I think that people need to pay more attention if the environmental protection things come up again. Go to the meetings, please. This is the big problem.
Yeah.
Right. We leave it to the ministries. We leave it to people in the ministry that not. I'm not saying that some don't want to see a change, but they might not be the people out there that are active fishing and know and can explain how more about this. So we need more Caymanians standing up, going to these meetings, being involved in these laws, and even serving on the boards. If you ever get a chance and someone asks you to serve on the boards, put yourself forward for it might be a little bit of scrutiny, but the reality is you'll learn something and you'll be able to make a contribution in your country, because this is something I'm going to say out to people. There are a lot of other people that are here serving on boards that you would not even imagine. They're the people that you may look at next to and say, he came here yesterday, but they're on the board and they're the people making the decisions of laws for you.
Yeah, man.
Right? So make sure if you get the opportunity, you stand up, be a part of it, make a difference in your own country.
Yeah, man. Well, we do have a couple of calls, but we do also have the news break, so we'll take that quickly. We'll also listen to the voice note too. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Police are investigating a single-vehicle collision in Georgetown last night just after 9:30 p.m. at the intersection of Walkers Road and Melmac Avenue. A blue BMW traveling northbound on Walkers Road ran off the road and smashed into a utility pole, causing severe damage both to the pole and to the vehicle. The Cayman Islands Fire Service extracted the driver, who was the sole occupant. He was taken to the Cayman Islands Hospital by ambulance and is currently being treated for what appear to be serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The matter, of course, is under investigation. In international headlines, Russian regulators said today that Internet users will be blocked from accessing Instagram because it's being used to call for violence against Russian soldiers. This is Moscow's latest move to tighten up access to foreign social platforms. The communication and media regulator said in a statement that it is restricting national access to Instagram because the platform is spreading, quote, calls to commit violent acts against Russian citizens, including military personnel. Facebook parent Meta Platforms, which also owns Instagram, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Companies critical to U.S. national interests will now have to report when they're hacked or pay ransomware. This according to new rules approved by Congress. The rules are part of a broader effort by the Biden administration and Congress to shore up the nation's cyber defenses after a series of high-profile digital espionage campaigns and disruptive ransomware attacks. The reporting will give the federal government much greater visibility into hacking efforts that target private companies, which often have skipped going to the FBI or other agencies for help. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8837. We had a couple of callers online as we go to the phones, and in the studio, Nobi sits with us. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hey, how are you today?
I'm very grateful. And how are you doing?
Very blessed and thankful.
Yes, and good afternoon to you too, Mr. Edwards.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Your thought to be friend.
Huh? Yeah.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't recognize your voice. Sorry. Yeah. How are you today?
I'm very grateful. Very grateful.
Okay, nice to hear from you, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm very glad to hear. I had to call in because sometimes I don't think the public makes known. Maybe they can't. As well, to make known that we're listening to the young people with their concerns and their passion. And we don't sometimes realize how important that is. And they're crying out and they're sending a message or messages, and sometimes it's almost left on dead ears.
Yep.
However, one of the things that impressed me too is when someone spoke about the Mr. Dart saying, he's glad to offer Caymanian jobs, and it was so almost heartbreaking to hear him speak like that, because I know where we're coming from, I know where we came from, and I look at where we're going and heading to. And even with the advertisements you see from all different sponsors, I have noticed that every one of those that I have seen, I don't know how many else agree with this or have noticed it, took note of it, but it doesn't matter how many sponsors you have on those advertisements, it's always Dart. Just pushes right out in your face. He's the first one you see. His is highlighted, and things like that I take very seriously. You'd probably ignore so many more, but you see that. It's Dart, that's just one small little observation, but to me, it's big. However, I would again just like to thank those, I think it was mainly young men that called before, that I gave them my full attention, and seeing and hearing, like I said, the passion and the pain and the concern that they have about their country and their children and those to generations to come, And the thing is, sometimes the politicians and the lawmakers and those that you said, be afforded the pleasure of being on companies, sometimes we don't realize how powerful those people are that are, like you said, making the laws according to what they want, their wishes, for those private people to be satisfied and compromised. That's a powerful position, being on the board. You can be of good or you can be of harm when you get on there. Yeah. And some people doesn't have the integrity like others. They serve theirs and their own people, their immediate family and their friends. They don't look at the broader population. So it can be something if people are there to do good and do what's right and do what's the best interest of the Caymanian people in the Cayman Islands, then you can serve or be there for a good purpose. But if you're there to gain from it and profit from it with you, your family, and those that have you on the board, those that select you personally on those boards, then that's a very dangerous thing. So I just want those persons that called before to let them know that to please keep on speaking. Don't be afraid. Be the Daniel and the lion's den. Be the David and Goliath, because there are some people that are gaining from what others say and put it there, and they're staying behind the blinds while their families are protected, and people that are calling out and voicing their concerns, their families are targeted. So it is good to get up there and say, you know what, God will see me through this. I'm going to be one of those Daniels. I'm going to speak up against the Goliath. I'll be a Daniel or a David, you know. So I just want to encourage them and keep up their freedom of speech while they have it. Although we're limited, very limited to what they can say. Some people are threatened so much today with losing their jobs in the private sector as well. Please don't forget our own civil service, our own government, where people are scared or afraid to speak up. They're bullied in the places, in their workplaces. They're pushed down. They're targeted. So we could go on and go on. Some people choose to keep their mouth shut, but one day they will regret it and would have wished and hoped that they had spoken out against some of these evilness that is going on in this country. Because when we think it's safety, the Bible says, sudden destruction cometh. Yeah. So sometimes money can't buy everything, and sometimes money is not the answer, but it's confidence, honesty, pride, and just the will to go on and keep on fighting and know that God is behind us. That is what is important. So today I just want to make you all know that whenever there's something to do, I can hear that, you know, a lot of young people today are not afraid and they're doing it. So politicians out there that are thinking that these words that people are speaking don't mean anything and you'll be elected again, please be careful. Listen to what they're saying, because I, for one, is listening and I would know where to put my vote next election, God willing. Okay, then. Thank you all.
You're most welcome, man. Thank you too, man. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
You do as well. All right, God bless. Take this other call. Welcome, good afternoon, as we speak to Nobi.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you today?
Good afternoon. Fine, thank you. Good afternoon to your guest there, Nobi.
Yeah, good afternoon to you too.
Glad to hear that lady just stated she's 100% right. Glad to hear you, another young Caymanian, you know, speaking up for their rights.
Thank you.
In your own country, because I mean, if you don't have any rights here, I don't, like you said, if you don't have any here, I don't know you have in next man's country. Yeah. I don't know how they can come to yours and or can get so much rights compared to us.
Yep.
You're 100% right about, especially about the fishing and the lobsters and everything. Because I was in the district of Northside a few weeks ago, about a month ago, I guess now, and I sighted 4 foreign nationals in their jeep, getting into their jeep, and they had approximately about 12 lobsters in their possession. I for one, as I said, I think I spoke on radio already, to ask those people how they are allowed to get those lobsters, and said they were told that they can get 3 lobsters per person. Now, I don't really think that is fair, because if me as a Caymanian go on the boat, I can only get 6 lobsters. Now, if I carry a boatload out there, I can only get 6. But 4 people can go and get 12. So something is wrong. I physically got on the phone and I called the Marine unit, the guard unit, and they told me, well, that is the law. If they're doing from the shore, they can take 3 per person. Now, like nobody say, who's enforcing these laws? Because the thing about it, if they're allowed to go, if they're visitors, especially visitors or divers here on our shores, and they go there 3 and 4 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
They're taking out a lot more than 6 lobsters or 12 lobsters. Who's enforcing that they're not breaking the law? Is it only because if they see somebody from that they know a West Bay or somebody from East End that they can say, yeah, that's a Caymanian, we going for them, we can confiscate their boat, their vehicle, their product, and then we can turn around and take them to court too, and possible and liable to be sent to jail.
Yep.
And then they turn around and they take the product away from the people and they carry it wherever they carry it. Only God knows, because you don't know where it goes. I mean, you won't assume, and they claim they carry it to charities, but you can charge a man for it. You can take it away from him, you can confiscate everything, and then you can turn around and charge him for it too. So, I mean, you're taking away their livelihood. This is where we're going to get. And like he just said, you know, there's a lot of people that are fed up with it. I'm not encouraging these people to poach anything, but remember now, every mouth will be fed. And if somebody see you on the other side being able to feed your children, they can't feed theirs, they can find a way to feed theirs too. They don't sit down and make theirs starve.
Yeah.
And we need to enforce these laws, but we need our government to put people in charge that are going to be responsible, because a lot of it, like that lady just said, a lot of them are foreigners getting on the boards, because it's a different topic altogether. But I can tell you, I had an experience with it, because I had a labor tribunal case, and it was against the voice said the mighty king, Mr. Dart. And who do you think that they have for the chairman? The chairman is Dart's lawyer. Now, how can you have, is that not conflict of interest? Now, the case against Dart, and the chairman, he plainly told me in plain words that he is the chairman of the board, who's not a Caymanian, but he wanted me to know that he represents Dart. Now, the case against Dart, do you think that I would have been very wise to sit there and make that case go on to be tried by him and think that I'm going to get a fair trial? I told him, I said, with all due respect to you, sir, you might be a fair person, but I would be an idiot to sit down here after you told me who you represent and who this case against. And I mean, they are so feisty to come and tell it in your face, and nobody does nothing about it. I mean, the Labour Board knew who he was. They know who they're working for. He was working for Appleby, and he's also on the board, but he's representing Dart. So do you think we're going to get anything out of that? So all of this kind of stuff, this corruption that is going on, the government needs to look into all of this. And we need, like you said, you need to get some laws out there that no foreigners, I don't care where they come from, should be allowed to go and fishing in our waters without a license, because we wouldn't be able to do it nowhere else.
But the problem,
a friend of mine said he went to Bermuda. No, sorry, he went to the Bahamas, sorry, not Bermuda. He's married to a Bahamian, and they caught him out in the marine under high seas fishing in Bahamas waters. And he said a fishing boat that's not authorities pulled him in and told him that he had no authority. Then he told him he married a Bahamian. He told him he don't care who he married to. If he come here and he don't have a license for it, he's not supposed to be in their waters. But until we get, maybe we need some more citizens, Caymanian citizens, that can speak up and speak out about all this going on, because I mean, you've taken it for so long now that you know you can only take so much of it now. Okay. So you guys keep up the good works, and like the lady just all said, you know, we proud that you guys are standing up. I mean, the older generation are going down, and a lot of it is neglecting them, where they encourage people, you know, to keep quiet, and you know, but they took our niceness for granted, and they're taking advantage of it, and they've taken so much advantage. Now it's time, this is what's happening to us now. We've played dead for so long now, we just realizing that these things are affecting us now, and affecting Caymanians most of all. A lot of foreigners not being affected.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
Stay there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nobi?
Yeah, well, just, you know, I just want to clarify, as I usually like to do. I'm not against any nationality come to this country. I'm not against any foreigner that would come here, visit it, and want to enjoy, our environment or whatever it is. But what I'm about is about making it fair for our locals. And to be honest with you, I look and I've seen a lot of my people in the district of East End that are fishing, young guys and stuff. I know they're doing it because they don't, right now, it's their livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is being done. Yeah, they may say they're poaching or nothing's being done to consider that, but they're being harassed, in my opinion, by the Marine officers in some cases, right? I'm not saying that they're not doing nothing wrong, but that's sad because the people are in their country trying to make a living, trying to feed their families maybe of some sort. I'm not, again, supporting anybody going out there poaching and doing something against the marine laws, but there is a little bit of unfairness. I'll be honest with you. I've gotten them coming to me on my boat.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen them go up to a dive boat yet or some other boat. I never. Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, I mean, that's all here and there. But, at the end of the day, I really think that why this is the way it is because the laws that we put in place, they're not really solidified and put in place the right way. And I think to further solidify any marine conservation, they need to put in place that you have to be issued a license. Whether local or whatever, or someone visiting here, you want to go fishing, you can buy a license, and then they give you the restrictions of what you can do under the license, right? I think that something of that sort has to be done. You can't have it open like this, and that's just my input on it. But at the end of the day, really, we really need to be consider environment as usual, but the people, I don't like to see people hurting. I can't personally go in my pocket and help everybody. I can't.
You would if you could, though.
But if I could, yes. If I had the money, I would.
You would.
But the thing is, I want to see them living and I want to see them enjoying their environment. This is their environment. It's not just mine.
Right.
It's everybody. All the people are here.
We share it together. All right, final break. It won't take long. Yeah. And then we'll play that voice talk when we come back and we'll talk some more. Stay tuned.
The Cayman Music and Entertainment Association will be hosting a special members meeting to elect the new executive board on Sunday, March 13th at 1 p.m. at the Georgetown Town Hall. All members in good standing are invited to attend to cast their vote for their new CMEA board. Sunday, March 13th at 1 p.m. at the Georgetown Town Hall.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good. Wow.
Sensational.
Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman,
MedLab. Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Come join the viewing party for the 70th edition of the International Miss World Pageant live from Puerto Rico. Wednesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. Carew, Camana Bay. Hosted by the Miss World Cayman Islands Committee. Meet our past Miss World queens and learn more about the Miss World Cayman Pageant and Girl Power Cayman. All are invited. Join us at the Miss World viewing party, Carew, Wednesday, March 16th at 6 p.m. See you there.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thanks to Nobi for keeping my company and to all you for listening and sharing your thoughts. Nobi got another call online. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon again, Sterling Dwayne and Nobi.
Welcome back again, man. Welcome back.
I've been listening to all your callers. Well, not all of them, but most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought me back to when the census first came out. This year, talking about that from when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
But when they published it this year, and you took note at how many was on work permit. It was more on work permit than Caymanians. And it's a good thing, it's a very good thing that we had the pandemic. Because imagine what the stats would have said. Remember, a lot of them went back to their country, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 57% on work permit. And then you had another, I can't remember how many percent, I think it was like 13 or something like that percent, that wasn't working. So if you go 57 plus 13, how much you getting?
57 plus 13?
You got 70%.
Mm-hmm.
That leaving Caymanians with 30%.
But
I don't remember the exact figures on the Caymanians and then the ones that wasn't employed, but I remember specifically the ones that was on, say that they were on work permit was 57%. Or 53. One of the two it was, but it was in the 50s. That means we're outnumbered. And who's to blame? I know it's not me because I didn't grant the work permit. But yet, before they go and they check the background and see, hey, look, how many Caymanians applied, how many were turned down, they go and they believe the company when they said, oh, we tried to get Caymanians, but no one applied. These are the things that happen and happen to us.
Well, on top of that, it's usually that they say the Caymanians are they don't want to work.
They're lazy.
And
yeah,
you know, I've had, you know, I mean, it's kind of difficult in some arenas, like with my tour company, to get some locals to come out because they, you know, early in the morning is not some people feel like they don't want to speak to, you know, as a tour guide or what have you. But you know, these are things that people gotta have to work out in terms of, if they want to be gainfully employed, they have to work with these situations and know that jobs are available. And if it is that we're saying, oh, that job is below us, we got to think about it too.
But no, let me give you another scenario. The other morning, I think it was a morning, or it could have been afternoon. No, it was morning. It was on OC shows. The opposition members were on, and a caller called in and said to them, be quiet because you all didn't do anything for us. And the opposition leader gonna say, oh yes, we did. We increased NAU. Come on, you're trying to make us a welfare state? I mean, I would say, well, right off the top of my head, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, if I didn't hear that one, but if I'd heard that one, I would have really laughed, because that seems like the typical scenario around here now. Everybody is feeling, and you know what stems it, and what makes me feel uncomfortable, because someone just made this out to me. If you don't have money and you're running for politics, you're not gonna get in. They just told me that, right? Okay, and here's the point. If it takes money for you to spend all this money to put in people's pocket to get in politics, I'm going to say to the people of the Cayman Islands, you all been bought, to be honest.
Bought for a price that
right.
is of no value.
And that's sad.
That's
sad, right?
Very, very sad.
So what's happening is people are, that's the whole thing. Whenever election year, everybody's flooding the place, giving people money all over the place. It's happy, it's good. The year before it's good. Then when that's gone, then there's no money. What are we gonna do?
Yep.
We just elected somebody. We elected some. I wouldn't say a word, but anyway, that then we turn around and say, oh, boy, we should have done something else.
Yeah, but when I be vocal, they'll call me and say, oh, you better shut up, I said, yeah. I said, I only got one thing to do.
Yeah.
That's die.
So we have to be mindful of what we're doing and going forward. And it comes from, and I'm sorry for taking up your time, it comes from us getting a job, serving on boards, if we asked to, and speaking up. I mean, for many years, I myself couldn't speak up because I first worked with the government, with the Auditor General's office. A lot of things that I do are confidential, remain confidential, and that's how it should be. Same thing when you work in accounting and other firms and what have you. You're in a confidential situation. Most people feel they should not speak up. You're making your money. You're comfortable. There are a lot of people out there that are very smart that can contribute, Caymanians, but they're comfortable.
They tried all how to shut me up when I was working with government. But I always made sure that I covered my you-know-what. Because I would record you right now in a flash.
Okay.
Let's deal with it in legal manner. That's how I dealt with it. Yeah, they tried to blacklist me many times. But I still survived.
Yeah.
And I have never once gone to say, give me a handout.
Yeah.
They've tried all how, when I tell you tried all how, they've tried all how to silence me even after I left government services. Because I spoke out for the people of this country.
Keep speaking, man. All right.
Yeah, together, man.
I am going to speak till God takes the breath from me.
Yeah. All right, man.
Thank you for calling us.
Anyway, y'all take care.
Blessings. All right, as we close it out, you want to play that voice note to close it off, and then we wrap it up. Here's a voice note for one of our listeners, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Dwayne Banks, again for always thinking about me and really taking charge of Talk Today. I really enjoyed myself when I was in the Cayman Islands, and I'm happy that actually I can look forward to following you when I'm here in East Africa. I'm thankful for what the Cayman Islands was to me when I stayed there for 9 years. I tried the same thing in the United Arab Emirates. Unfortunately, that did not work. So now as I'm recording this statement, I can tell you that I was so happy that it worked for me in Cayman Islands. I liked the hospitality of the Cayman people, and even making me feel that I was almost as equal as they were. Unfortunately, when you go to a caste society like we have in the UAE, such was not the case. So I'm always happy and I'm always thankful for Talk Today. Keep the good work. Now, when you talk of environment, it is also something that is very topical. When you talk of conserving your costs, it's also something that was very passionate to my heart, if you can remember, when I was in the Cayman Islands. Thank you.
You know, I appreciate that our listeners, you know, whether they have been connected to the country, whether they just have an affinity, that through this reach, this medium, this platform, we can influence people to do the right thing. We can impact people in a positive way, but we can show that our net is wide and varied and vast. And as we reach out, let's build those bridges. I mean, you come in today, and I really appreciate you shared. You've probably inspired, motivated, but you also caused people to feel encouraged and courageous. And as we share together, collectively, trying to protect and preserve, promote what we have as a people, your resounding call is get involved. Become engaged, become informed, become active, become productive.
Yeah. Well, that is what it is, man. You gotta be involved.
Yeah, man.
You gotta be a part of your environment. You gotta be, observant of your environment. Yeah. And I just encourage people to try to conserve. Try to think more about, the trees and everything around you. I'm always into that because, we gotta keep our environment nice. Stop littering around the place. If you gotta throw something away, think about recycling. Think about putting your plastics and your cans. These are all important things that you need to do. And for some reason, I keep telling people, the young ladies I see in Cayman and most around the world, most people who come on my tour, and 100% of the people who have rented at my Airbnb, they're all recycling. Mm-hmm. They're all environmentally minded. Mm-hmm. And that kind of amazes me because we don't have a structure in Cayman through the government that has that, although they have these places in the district that you can put it there, but it's not like it's in your house. Mm-hmm. Like in Canada and different places, it's separation. So, we all can play a part, small part in that aspect of things, and keep Cayman clean. Keep our fruits out there. We have a lot of different fruits and stuff. Cayman has a lot to offer people. Just we have to be able to keep it in place and work together.
As we feed the parts, we can also feed the people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to thank the people from East End, my district, because there are a lot of people who allow me to go into their property. They allow me to get mangoes or June plums when I do my tour, different things like that. And I appreciate that because I've never been deterred by anybody. And people have always been welcoming of the guests that come. And they're really getting a good experience about East End, and I appreciate that. And I think, we have a lot of people in East End that could show people around anyway.
Right, man.
Right? I've just taken it up and done this, but there's still the opportunity there for others to do this.
Right. Well, as you go about, you come across any Cheddar Meadows or Jew plums?
June plum.
No, Jew plum. The Jew plum. Not a June one. The Jew one. The little small one with the hard seed.
Yeah, we got that one.
Yeah, I one of my Mr. Garson yard. I'll go look for that later. Yeah. Friend told me a different name, which I did not know, but I'll taste it, see, and let it show. Well, every day, we spend together is a blessing, a privilege, and I appreciate it very much.
You're good, man.
You're a great guy, man.
We gotta go fishing though.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
I promise you. God's willing, we'll do that. Now, you've selected a song for us, for our listeners, right?
I always like a song because I like music.
Yeah, man.
And I listen to a lot of the words of music and things like that. It's kind of inspiring to me, and I'm hoping that this song is good.
Yeah. Before you cue the song, we just got an advisory, and as a PSA to our listeners, please drive with caution. There is an accident advisory, a southbound lane on the Estill Tiblis Highway causing a backup. If you can avoid that area, please do so. And our prayers and hope that it's not serious. It's just something simple, but still, as we understand now, accident, southbound lane, and there's still tidbits by the Butterfield roundabout that region. Avoid it if you can. There's a significant traffic backup. Nobby, I hope to spend as much time as the Lord allows in your company, man. Your cooking, satisfies, the hunger. Your conversation, satisfies the soul. Your good counsel, fulfills the spirit. Your friendship, brings great joy, man. So I appreciate when you have us,
Thank you, man, brother.
All right, so what's the song? Blessings, man. Tell us about the song, though. You heard the song?
These days we got pray.
Pray.
We just have to pray.
All right, man.
Top, 'cause we know what it takes. Through it all we survive, yet still hold the faith. Unchangeable, Lord, unchangeable. Hey, no matter how the dollar might stack up, me still not change. Me I go stay rough. Inna the giddy and you have to buckle up your lace. Be smart, don't be a gruff, no. Life, it's a journey, it's a long race. Mama says, son, be wise and don't bring disgrace. So me take up the broom and start sweep the place. 'Cause all these ways, they got to get erased. I love to me people that me embrace. The truth are the truth and that can't erase. So hell to all of those who want hate. Just send me to finish this race. So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary. Just said, don't you worry, I'll be in a hurry, Lord. We got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary. So we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray, we pray. Let's not be flow when the prayer gone up. Not a evil can harm us. Them think we don't know we just a warm up. Yeah, nothing I mind us. So me tell the youth hold on, tell mama be strong. Jackie, have faith in God, me no know about man. Long time them a try bring me down, and not just now, from a very young. Chat me every day with them funny tongue. Them a watch me on the telly now. Can't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary. Just said, don't you worry. No. I'll be in a hurry, Lord. We got to be ready, 'cause time's getting dreary.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.